As the sun dips low on the horizon, painting the sky in soft hues of lavender and rose, a gentle snow begins to fall over the Nordic hamlet of Eldfjord. Nestled in a quiet valley in northern Norway, the hamlet is a cluster of wooden cottages with steeply pitched roofs, their timbers weathered by countless winters. Smoke curls lazily from chimneys, carrying the faint, comforting scent of burning pine. The air is crisp and still, broken only by the occasional hush of snowflakes settling on the ground like a soft blanket. Street lamps flicker to life, casting a warm, golden glow that dances across the fresh powder, turning the world into a serene, dreamlike landscape. In the heart of Eldfjord lies a special place known to the locals as the Willow Grove, a small stand of ancient willow trees by the frozen banks of the Eld River. In summer, the willows sway with a gentle rustle, their long branches whispering secrets in the breeze, earning the grove its poetic name, Whispers of the Willow Grove. But now, in the depths of winter, the trees stand bare and silent, their branches etched in frost, like delicate lace against the twilight sky. The grove is a haven of tranquility, where villagers come to find peace, even in the quiet embrace of snow. In one cozy cottage on the edge of the hamlet, Elara sits by her loom, her fingers moving with a rhythmic grace. Elara is a gentle weaver in her mid-40s, with silver-streaked auburn hair tied back in a loose braid and eyes that hold the warmth of a summer hearth. She crafts tapestries that tell stories of the land, intricate patterns of fjords, forests, and the ever-changing seasons. Her home smells of dried lavender and fresh wool, the air soft with the hum of her spinning wheel. Tonight, as the snow whispers against her window panes, Elara pauses, feeling a quiet pull toward the evening's calm. She sets aside her work and stokes the fire, its crackling flames sending shadows flickering across the walls. A soft knock echoes at her door, and Elara smiles knowingly. It's Finn, the curious beekeeper from down the lane. Finn is an elderly man in his 70s, with a bushy white beard that frames his kind, twinkling blue eyes and a weathered face etched with lines of laughter and wisdom. He tends to his hives in the warmer months, harvesting honey that tastes of wildflowers and sunshine, but in winter, he spends his days reading old books and pondering the mysteries of nature. Bundled in a thick woolen coat dusted with snow, he steps inside, stamping his boots gently on the mat. "Good evening, Elara," Finn says, his voice deep and soothing, like the low rumble of a distant stream. "The snow's coming down steady tonight. Thought I'd stop by for a cup of that herbal tea you make so well. Chamomile and mint, if memory serves." Elara chuckles softly, her laugh like the tinkling of wind chimes. "Always, Finn. Come in, warm yourself by the fire. It's a night for stories and quiet company." As they settle by the hearth, another figure appears at the doorway, a reflective traveler named Lyre. Lyre is a young man in his late 20s, with tousled dark hair peeking from under a knit cap and thoughtful green eyes that seem to hold the weight of distant horizons. He's been wandering the Nordic lands for months, seeking solace after a life of restless city days, drawn to Eldfjord by tales of its peaceful winters. His backpack slung over one shoulder, he knocks hesitantly, his breath forming misty clouds in the cold air. "I hope I'm not intruding," Lyre says, his tone gentle and introspective. I saw the light in your window and felt drawn to it. The hamlet feels so welcoming on a night like this. Elara waves him in with a warm smile. Not at all, liar. We've room for one more by the fire. Join us. The snow has a way of bringing folks together. The three gather around the wooden table, the room filled with the aroma of steaming tea. The cups are simple earthenware, warm to the touch, and the steam rises in lazy spirals, carrying hints of chamomile's floral sweetness and mint's refreshing coolness. Outside, the snow continues to fall, muffling the world in a hush that invites reflection. As they sip their tea, the conversation flows like a slow-moving river, meandering through memories and quiet observations. Finn leans back in his chair, his hands cradling the warm cup, feeling the smooth ceramic against his calloused palms. You know, Elara, Finn begins, his voice steady and reassuring. This hamlet has seen many winters, but each one feels like a fresh page in an old book. Tell me, what's on your loom these days? Something inspired by the grove, perhaps? Elara nods, her eyes lighting up softly. Indeed, Finn. I'm weaving a tapestry of the Willow Grove in spring, green leaves dancing, the river sparkling. But tonight, with the snow outside, it makes me think of how the whispers change with the seasons. In summer, they're lively, like children's laughter. In winter, they're silent, but no less profound, like the quiet wisdom that comes with age. Liar listens intently, stirring his tea with a small spoon, the gentle clink echoing in the cozy room. I've heard of the whispers of the Willow Grove from travelers further south. They say it's a place where the wind carries messages of peace. I've been searching for that kind of tranquility myself. The cities I left behind were full of noise and hurry, endless lights, honking horns, the constant rush. Here, in Eldfjord, even the snow seems to speak in soft tones. Finn chuckles warmly, a sound that rumbles like distant thunder softened by clouds. Ah, the grove has that effect. Why don't we take a little walk there tonight? The path is short, and the snow's not too deep yet. We can bundle up and see how the winter dresses it. Sometimes, the best way to hear the whispers is to stand among the trees, even in silence. Elara glances out the window, where the flakes swirl like tiny feathers in the lamplight. A fine idea, Finn. The air will be invigorating, and the grove always feels like a sanctuary. Liar, would you join us? It's not far, just through the hamlet and down to the riverbank. Liar smiles, a quiet spark of curiosity in his eyes. I'd like that very much. Lead the way. They don their coats and scarves. Elara's a soft knit in shades of blue, Finn's a sturdy gray wool, and Liar's a faded green parka from his travels. Stepping out into the evening, the snow crunches softly under their boots, a satisfying sound that grounds them in the moment. The air is cold but not biting, laced with the clean, earthy scent of fresh snow and distant pine forests. Street lamps line the path, their light filtering through the falling flakes, creating halos that guide their way. As they walk through the hamlet, the world feels intimate and enclosed. Cottages huddle together, their windows aglow with candlelight, and the occasional villager waves from a doorway, exchanging quiet greetings. Godkveld, someone calls softly, "Good evening," and the trio responds in kind, their voices blending with the hush. The path to the Willow Grove winds gently downhill, bordered by snow-dusted hedges and the skeletal forms of sleeping gardens. Elara points out small details along the way, her voice a soothing melody. See how the snow clings to the branches, like nature's own lace? And listen, the faint trickle of the river beneath the ice, a reminder that life flows on, even in stillness. Finn nods, his breath visible in the air. And smell that? The crispness of the frost, mixed with the subtle earthiness of the soil beneath. It's grounding, isn't it? My bees teach me that, how to appreciate the quiet cycles of the year. Lyre walks between them, his steps measured, absorbing the serenity. It's beautiful. Back in the city, evenings were chaotic, sirens wailing, crowds pushing. Here, I can hear my own thoughts. What draws you both to the grove so often? Elara pauses, touching a snow-covered branch gently, feeling the cold powder melt slightly against her glove. For me, it's a place of creation. The whispers inspire my weaves, patterns that capture the flow of leaves and wind. It's where I go to untangle my mind, like sorting threads on the loom. Finn adds, his tone reflective, and for me, it's curiosity. In summer, the bees love the willows, pollen-rich and inviting. But in winter, it's a lesson in patience. The trees rest, gathering strength for spring. Much like us, we all need our quiet seasons. They reach the Willow Grove, a serene clearing where the willows stand tall and graceful, their branches arching like frozen waterfalls. The snow has blanketed the ground in a pristine white, unbroken except for the faint tracks of a rabbit or fox. The river nearby is a ribbon of ice, its surface glistening under the emerging stars. The air here is even stiller, the snow falling in larger, fluffier flakes that brush against their cheeks like gentle kisses. Here we are, Elara says softly, her voice barely above a whisper. The whispers of the Willow Grove. Even without leaves, you can feel it, the peace that lingers. They find a spot under one of the larger willows, brushing snow from a fallen log to sit. The wood is smooth and cold, but their coats provide warmth, and the shared company creates an invisible cocoon of comfort. Finn pulls a small flask from his pocket, warm honey tea he prepared earlier, and passes it around. The liquid is golden and sweet, with a hint of lemon balm, warming them from the inside out. As they sit, the conversation deepens, weaving through personal stories like threads in Elara's tapestry. Lyre shares about his travels, his voice steady and contemplative. I left the city because I felt disconnected from nature, from people, from myself. Wandering led me here, but I'm starting to think home isn't a place. It's moments like this shared with kind souls. Elara places a hand on his arm, her touch light and reassuring. We all wander in our own ways, Lyre. I lost my husband years ago to the sea, and weaving became my anchor. The grove helped me find hope again, that life renews like the willows budding after winter. Finn gazes at the stars peeking through the branches, his beard frosted lightly with snow. And I've seen many seasons come and go. My bees taught me connection, how every flower, every drop of honey links us all. In the quiet, we find that thread of tranquility binding us. They sit in companionable silence for a while, listening to the subtle sounds, the soft patter of snow on branches, the distant hoot of an owl, the faint creak of ice on the river. The scents mingle, crisp snow, woody bark, and the lingering sweetness of honey tea. Textures surround them, the rough log beneath, the soft wool of scarves, the cool air on their skin. Gradually they rise, brushing off snow, and begin the gentle walk back. The path feels familiar now, like an old friend, and their steps are unhurried. Along the way they share small laughs, Finn recounting a funny mishap with his hives, Elara describing a tapestry mishap, Lyre admitting his poor sense of direction. The interactions are gentle, fostering a sense of community, each word building a bridge of understanding. Back at Elara's cottage, they stomp the snow from their boots and step inside, the warmth enveloping them like a hug. The fire has died to embers, but its glow is enough. They share one last cup of tea, the steam rising in peaceful curls. As the evening deepens, a profound sense of calm settles over them. Lyre feels the weight of his travels lift, replaced by a quiet hope for what lies ahead. Elara senses her threads of life aligning in harmony, and Finn finds contentment in the simple connections of the night. "Thank you both," Lyre says softly, his eyes reflecting the firelight. "This snowy evening in Eldfjord, sharing the whispers of the Willow Grove, it's given me a peace I didn't know I needed." Elara smiles warmly. "And you've brought fresh eyes to our little world. Remember, tranquility is always there, like the grove, waiting for us to listen." Finn nods, his voice a gentle rumble. "Aye, and hope blooms in the quiet moments. Rest well, friends." They part ways with soft goodnights, the door closing behind them with a quiet click. Outside, the snow continues to fall, blanketing the hamlet in serenity. Inside, Elara banks the fire, feeling the day's gentle weave complete. As the stars wheel overhead and the world drifts into slumber, let this tale wrap you in its calm embrace, guiding you toward peaceful dreams. To drift into more peaceful tales, subscribe to Sleep Dream Stories for more soothing stories.